Coach, you can open your statement and take questions.
Okay. We're really pleased with this recruiting class. We started out with a plan to improve our team in terms of speed, in terms of athleticism. We wanted to improve our offensive line, make that more athletic. I think we've addressed that. We wanted to have a few more dynamic guys on offense that could score the ball from anywhere. I think we've addressed that. We've wanted to create a quarterback battle on our football team, guys that could come in and push each other and make us better in that position. I think we've addressed that. And then obviously improve our overall speed on defense, and I think we've addressed that. We were really fortunate because we've gotten guys from several different locales. And what we wanted to do was set our recruiting footprint. I think we've done that. We wanted to recruit out I-20 from Dallas all the way into Atlanta, working through Alabama into Atlanta, then working down Highway 80 in Alabama through Montgomery, and then working from New Orleans and Louisiana and Baton Rouge along I-10 into the Florida Panhandle, and I think we've accomplished that. We took 4 kids from Texas. We have 8 here in the state of Mississippi, 2 from Tennessee, 2 from Florida, 3 from Alabama, 3 from Louisiana, 1 from North Carolina, 3 from Tennessee, and 1 from Illinois. And so I think we've accomplished the things we wanted to accomplish in our recruiting, and really, really like this class and looking forward to having an opportunity to coach them.
Coach, you said you wanted to, kind of hinted on the fact that you definitely wanted speed to be a thing. Right. with the recruiting. And so specifically talking about from the defensive standpoint, like how do you feel about the players that you brought in to kind of bring in that whole momentum of speed?
Well, not only speed, but guys who had football skill and acumen. I think we've done a good job with that. Starting here with the young man we signed from here in Jackson with Jaquel Honer, who I think is going to be an excellent football player. Then we got the safety from out of Bastrop, Louisiana, who's really a Mississippi kid who's removed over there, Robert McDaniel. Really good-looking 6'3" free safety that can run. In the secondary, we really think we've really helped ourselves with Ja'Shawn Baker and Mark Eddy from over in Louisiana. And then the rest of the guys, you guys are really going to love Keith Lopez, a big 6'5" linebacker. I know everybody thinks he can't do it, but I think he's a big athletic guy that's going to be 250 pounds one day playing linebacker for us. And then I think we top it off with the defensive lineman from Devontae from over in Alabama, Devontae Davis from over in Union Springs, Alabama. So I think we put together a class, a bunch of guys that can run, they tackle well, and they understand football. And I think we've helped ourselves in those areas.
It's a solid class all around, but when you look at this, who would you and your coaching staff say were the ones that were most essential, or that you all felt like you absolutely had to have a successful cycle?
You know, I people think I'm crazy, but I think they're all important. You know, I mean, we've got some guys that are a little more highly ranked than others, like Brandon Sanders over in Alabama from Montgomery. He's a 3-star kid. The guy we got at midterm, Eric Scooby Jones, was a 3-star kid from Shannon, Mississippi. You know, in terms of your recruiting numbers, those guys make the class look better. But I think every kid that we sign is important. The kid Kamani Clark from Florida, the running back. Oh, what a dynamic guy. I mean, he changes the face of what we are running back-wise. He has size and speed. And then the offensive lineman, really essential for this class. We really needed to improve our athleticism there. And to sign the guys we did on the offensive line, I think really helps us to be better. You know, the junior college kids that we signed, or the kid that we signed early, and Raheem Wilson, and then to sign Jalen Jones after him from Coffeyville Community College, and then the 3 high school kids, Hawkins and Eric, and then those guys that will come in, I believe, will help us down the line somewhere. And they can move. They got quickness. They all can run. And I think we really needed to do that on offense, and hopefully we'll continue that trend as we go out and resume our recruiting for the next cycle.
This is a little off topic as far as, you know, the recruits and everybody that's committed and about to get ready to come, but some of your fan bases were wondering what y'all's intentions are as far as kickers and long snappers.
I don't have a problem with kickers and long snappers. You know, there's a lot of them. out, and we haven't addressed that yet, but I can address that later on and still be okay. You know, the kid we have now will be our start kicker. Salazar, we got him in June. And then Zach Leeton, who'll be our long snapper and long kicker, we got him in June. So we're going to address that. I know it's a need, but that's a position where there's a whole bunch of kids all over the country, and we'll get the right one for our program, and we'll take our time and make sure we get the guy that will fit that. And we'll address that as we need it. But right now, we're all right. We got 3 guys on campus who can kick. Starting with Adrian Salazar, we got Marcus O'Neal, and we got Zach Leeton. They all can kick. And so, you know, they've seen Jackman, but they haven't seen the other guys kick, and I watch them every day. So, you know, I'm not worried about that position. I think we'll be solid when it comes time for us to play football games.
Coach, as if, you know, the quarterback position here, it's definitely like, you know, a competition going on, but you get 3 more people at the quarterback position today. What are your thoughts on that? Well,
you know, that's the way it fell. You know, we went out to get guys to create competition. We needed young guys. You know, Ponder is going to be a junior this year. We had one young guy in Strauss. He'll be a redshirt freshman, and then Matt, who we signed at midterm, he'll be a redshirt sophomore, junior kind of guy. So we needed some young guys for developmental purposes. I think we addressed what we needed in that, and getting Quincy Casey from out of Memphis, and then Brandon Mallory and Patrick Johnson from here in Jackson. Those 3 guys will compete against each other and hopefully push some of the older guys to play.
Offensively, when you and I talked last year, you said you were trying to get a lot of guys that could make plays on the outside, and it seems like you did that with these 5 receivers you got in. How big of a priority was the receiver position specifically in this class? Because you got a lot of them, and all of them are speedsters for the most part.
That was the key, not just to get receivers, but to get a combination of guys who had size too and speed. A couple of them a little smaller, but then, you know, Bracey's a decent sized guy. Brandon Sanders is a little slight, but he has great height, and eventually will be a nice sized guy, but they're dynamic. You know, Brandon can score the ball from anywhere on the field. Jalen Bracey's dynamic, make you miss kind of guy, can score the ball. And we're glad to have those guys because they add the dimension that you want on offense. You know, when you play football, you want to have guys that make the defense look at you and say, man, we better stay on top of him or it'll be 6 points. And that those guys give us that. And then you add the running backs into that equation, like Chemo and like Hansbard, those guys that can hit home runs. When they run the football, that really adds a dimension to your offense that makes it dangerous for defenses.
Who would you say is the guy that maybe didn't get the most recognition, but should definitely be on everybody's radar? Like, I guess the sleeper. Who's the sleeper of the class?
Wow, I don't. Well, most of the people around won't know Chemo. I mean, Kamani Clark, he's a Florida kid. People in Mississippi and around here won't know about him, but he's a guy that I'm glad we were able to get in the program because he can flat do it. So he's a guy that I wouldn't say he's a sleeper, but I would look for him to maybe break in some playing time this fall.
How does he fit into, you know, what y'all are trying to do offensively? I know you said he'll line up at running back.
He can line up at running back. We can put him in a slot. We can do a whole lot of things with him. He's not a little guy. You know, he's a guy that has some little bulk to him, and he's got great speed. He's got great elusiveness. He catches the ball well. So, Coach Dixon, I know with what he does offensively, he has some grand plans for him.
Coach, you got Christian Allen from Mendenhall, like dynamic player coming out of Mendenhall. Like,
right.
How do you plan on using him in the offense?
Well, he's a slot receiver. You know, right now he wants to play on offense. He's a slot kind of guy. I was sure wish he would tell me one day he wants to play on defense because I think he'd be a great corner outside. But he'll start out at receiver and be a slot receiver, and like you said, he's another guy. He's speed. You know, as long as you got guys that can run, you've got a place to use them. As long as you got guys who can run.
I'm good too.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.